Hello and welcome back to the GCSE Help YouTube channel for maths revision. Today we're going to be going over surds. So firstly we need to understand what is a surd. So normally in maths we see the square root symbol, the square root symbol. The square root is just the opposite of squaring something, so putting something to the power of 2 to the power of 3. So square root. Here we have the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is not a surd because the square root of 4 simplifies to give 2 on your calculator. But a real surd is square root of 5 because a square root of 5 doesn't simplify to give a whole number as an answer. So if you put in your calculator, you'll get a really random answer. So what you can do with surds is you can multiply surds. So if we have root 5 times root 3, we'll get root 15. So, and this can also be used like root 15 divided by root 5 is equal to root 3. Now, these are simple ways to multiply and divide surds. A harder one is adding. So you can't really do adding surds like this because this will not give you square root of 8 as you would normally think. But how you add surds is when they have a number on the outside. So let's say we have 4 root 3 and then we need to have the same surd. We can add these two numbers up to give us 11 root 3. So think of it as an x. Think of a surd as an x, as you have 4x plus 7x equals 11x. So that's what we think of it as. And also if we do 7 root 3 minus 4 root 3, this will give us 3 root 3. These are simple rules: timesing, adding, subtracting. Now we move on to a more difficult subject, which is actually factorizing surds and turning them into their simplest form. So here, for example, we have root 8. Root 8 can be simplified into root 4 times 2 because 4 times 2 is 8. Now imagine this, we split it up. Root 4 times root 2 equals root 8, right? And root 4 is equal to 2. And then we also have root 2, which stays the same. So this will ultimately equal 2 root 2. So now imagine we have a root 8 plus root 2. So we can turn the root 8 into 2 root 2 plus root 2, and we'll get 3 root 2, for example. Now this can be easily done on a calculator if you click the root button, which is on our calculator next to the fraction button, and we put in the 8. This will give us the simplified version, but in exams normally they will ask you to know how to do these and they will ask you to show your working. So this is why you need to know the working. What you can do though is work it out on your calculator and then try and get there using these methods. So you know that your answer will be right if you put it in your calculator to check. So our next one is root 720. Now root 720, can we divide that by 4? Let's do 720 divided by 4 on our calculator. We can. So we have 4 times 180. Now can we divide 180 by 4? 180 divided by 4. Yes, we can. So we'll get 4 and we'll also get 45, which can be further divided into 9 and 5. So what do we have here? We have root 4 times root 9 times root 5. So we can say this will equal 2, this will equal 2, and this will equal 3, because 3 squared is 9, so root of 9 is 3. You can put that in your calculator, obviously. Root 4 will give us 2, and root 9 will give us 3. And then we're also left with a root 5. So what would we do with this root 5? We'll do 2 times 2 times 3, which on our calculator will give us 12. And this will leave us with 12 root 5 as our final answer. Now let's move on to a harder problem, so where we have to factorize two different ones into their simplest forms. Root 54 and root 24. Now, can we divide root 54 by, for example, 9? Yes, we can. So we'll get root 54 is equal to root 9 times root 6 on our calculator, because 9 times 6 is 54. Root 9 will be equal to 3, and this will mean that it's 3 root 6. Now we'll do 24. What can we divide 24 by? 24 divided by 4 is 6. So root 24 is equal to root 6 times root 4. What do we have here again? Root 4 turned into a 2. So root 24 will be equal to 2 root 6. What did we learn about earlier? 3 root 6 minus 2 root 6 will give us root 6. And that's our final answer as in this form, where q is a positive integer. Now we get onto the much more harder thing, which everyone finds really much more challenging in the topic, which is rationalizing the denominator. Now for rationalizing the denominator, we must understand that we cannot have a root at the bottom of a fraction. It needs to be on top or just nowhere. So what we will do is times it by 1. Now you might not understand what I'm saying here, but timesing it by 1 means that we can times it by 3 minus root 5. See, I'm switching the sign over 3 minus root 5. 3 minus root 5 over 3 minus root 5 is obviously 1. So I'm still timesing it by 1, which is legal in maths, more or less. It's legal, so now we can just use expanding out, just timesing everything all together. So 6 minus 2 root 5, because 2 times minus root 5 is minus 2 root 5, over 9 plus 3 root 5 minus 3 root 5. See, that's why we've used the minus sign here, because the minus sign will allow us to do 3 times minus root 5, which will do 3 minus 3 root 5. And then we'll also get minus 5, because root 5 times minus root 5 is like doing root 25, minus root 25, which is minus 5. If you put that in your calculator. So to now simplify all this, 6 minus 2 root 5 over, these will cancel out, and this will give us over 4. Now we can divide this further by 2, so we'll get 3 minus root 5 over 2 as our final answer. Let's move on to the next question, where it asks us exactly the same thing. These are probably going to be the hardest questions that come up on Surds, rationalizing the denominator. What will we do here? 4 over root 6 minus 2 times root 6 plus 2. Always remember to flip the sign here. Flip the sign. Root 6 plus 2. And remember that the denominator must be the same as the numerator. They need to be exactly the same, so then it equals to 1. We'll expand those out, so 4 root 6 plus 8 over, you can pause the video if you need time to expand them out, 6 plus 2 root 6 minus 2 root 6, and then finally minus 4. So for our final answer, we'll get 4 root 6 plus 8 over, these two will cancel out, we'll get a good nice little 2 there, and then we'll get, as our final answer, we'll get 2 root 6, because we're going to divide by 2, plus 4. Thank you guys for watching, and remember to subscribe.